Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 4, Round 18. Just 3 races remain on the schedule, 2 road courses and 1 oval. And we're here at Portland International Raceway for the first time in Open Wheel Offline League history, as we have an interesting starting grid today. Just a couple races to go in the championship, so let's start at the tail end of the field and move forward, starting in 26th. Again, starting last will be the 95 of Ethan Martz. In 25th will be the 99 of Brendan Hubbard in his first road course race since his win at Kentucky, but he's going to be starting deep in the field. In 24th will be the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan, trying to get into the leader circle. And then 23rd, best qualifying effort for the 94 of Dawa Tenzin after some upgrades to the team and some sim testing. 22nd, disappointing qualifying effort for Miles Rowe, trying to go for 4 straight top 10 finishes. Going to be starting deep in the field. Lindsey Brewer also looking to move forward, starting all the way down in 21st. In 20th, a deep qualifying effort for the 00 of Glubler Lore. Going to have his work cut out for him today. And then 19th is the 44 of Lewis Hamilton, starting way deeper in the field than he would have liked after getting impeded many, many times in qualifying. Gonna have to see if he can move his way forward. In 18th, another disappointing qualifying effort for Guy Gagné. And then right in front of him in 17th is Robbie Lors, the only driver that has never finished outside the top 20. Right in front of him is his teammate who had that also going for him, but then finished 22nd last race out at Nashville. Going to be starting in the middle of the pack today. Also starting in the middle of the pack, last week winner, the 33 of Marcus Armstrong, having his worst qualifying effort in a good while, but he does seem to be the priority driver for Silly Men Racing in his number 33 car going into next season. So right in front of him, his teammate Chet Jordan needs some good races to close out the season to try to get re-signed. 13th is the 11 of Louis Foster. Once again, doesn't make it to round 2. He's 45 points back in the championship. Will need to work his way forward today. In 12th, right in front of him, will be his teammate Dorian Pinn. Not quite the qualifying effort that she wanted, but strong effort for Stingray Robb, who starts 11th. Just a couple points back from the leader circle, 21st in points. In 10th is going to be Callum Ilott, looking to get his season back on track. Hasn't had many good races recently and has fallen outside the top 10 in points. And then 9th is Yuki Tsunoda, looking for another solid run today after a disappointing result at Nashville. In 8th, best qualifying effort in a long time for the 07 of Catherine Legg. Gets into round 2 and puts it in row 4. Then right in front of her will be the 29 of Benjamin Peterson. Right in front of Peterson will be his teammate Alessio Deletta, also trying to get into the leader circle. First Fast 6 appearance of the season for him. In 5th is the 25 of David Malukas, trying to get Rookie of the Year and snag it away from Connor Zilic, going to be starting from 5th today. And then 4th, best qualifying effort of the season for the 42 of Gail Barnhart, who may not even finish out the season. He may only have 2 races left in his career. So, once a big day today. 3rd is your championship leader, Ryan Preece, leads the championship by 45. A good day today could pretty much solidify his second career championship and make him the first 2-time champion. But right in front of him, a guy trying to take that title as well as the 43 of Shane Van Gisbergen, but a disappointing stretch on the ovals has dropped him to 3rd in the championship and outside 1 race length of points. And then in 1st, your current Rookie of the Year leader, only by a couple points, got his 3rd pole of the season. Number 9 of Connor Zilic, trying to rebound after some disappointing results. Your starting grid will scroll across the top here. So Connor Zilic, pole number 3 of the season, leads the Rookie of the Year standings but not by much, just 4 points. It was nearly 70 points not too long ago, but David Malukas, who starts back in 5th, has had a very good run on the ovals. Finished 2nd at Kentucky and 3rd at Nashville. Nashville race winner Marcus Armstrong went from 20th to 13th in the standings. It's been a rough season, but finally got some luck. Gonna be starting deep in the field. Louis Foster starts down in 13th. Reminder, he has not finished in the top 10 since all the way back at Montreal with a 3rd place. That is 5 straight non-top 10 finishes. If he wants to get back into this championship fight, which he is currently 45 points out of, he needs a big effort. Shane Van Gisbergen out by 1 whole race. He's down by 51. 2 wins on the season. He's also been all over the map recently. It would need a big breakthrough. Right now it looks pretty solid for Ryan Preece as he sits in 3rd on the grid today. A reminder, not going green this time. We will re-rack for a double file start. Thank goodness that wasn't the start because that would have been a very bad start. So let's take a look at the weather for this race. This race takes place September 20th, so we've almost entered the fall. 2 p.m., 2 mile per hour wind speed, so not much. Only 69 degrees, track temp 83. It's quite cloudy today. So pretty ideal conditions for racing. Let's take a look at the track map. It's just under 2 miles, which is why so many stack-ups happened in qualifying. And just barely above sea level. This is a pretty flat track. Their first time going to Oregon in series history. Take a look at tire compound choice. Here is the number 9 of Connor Zilich, going to be running the softs. Shane Van Gisbergen on the mediums. Ryan Preece will also be on the softs. Gail Barnhart going on the mediums. Malukas will be on the softs. Deletta, your first car on the hards, going to be back in 6th. Peterson, right behind him, his teammate, will be on softs. Catherine Legg will be on softs. Sonoda will be on hards. And then Callum Ilott will be on the medium tire. So a good variety of tire choices for today's race. That was your top 10. And we're going to have to see how this works. It's going to be a 45 lap race. As we will now line up double file, get this race underway. So be careful for a car not starting on the start. We've typically seen that outside lane not quite go, and that's led by Gale Barnhart starting in 4th. That's kind of a danger zone, and everyone behind him could be in a difficult position, which could start the day pretty rough for these drivers, if that does happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but it very well could. Ryan Preece giving a lot of space to the number 9 of Connor Zilich, not quite sure why. Preece has not really done well with tire management this season, and him starting on the softs could lead to some interesting situations. This track has 2 passing points, really, first turn and the chicane down the backstretch, but that's also been a danger zone throughout a lot of qualifying, a lot of off tracks during qualifying, a lot more than we're used to seeing. So that could play a factor today. Lights on the pace car are out. We'll come around this time and get this race underway. Here we go. Around the final turn, pace car will pull off. And we are green here at the inaugural Portland Grand Prix. And the outside, as I said, may happen, does not get going. Gale Barnhart does not accelerate. And here goes Shane Van Gisbergen around the outside into turn 1, around the number 9 of Connor Zilich. Ryan Preece gets by David Malukas. Benjamin Peterson will slide by. That whole outside lane dropped back. Did not get going on the start. Shane Van Gisbergen takes the lead into turn 1. So a rough start for many of the cars. Gale Barnhart qualified in 4th, is all the way down to 15th. This happened at Summit Point. And all you can do is put your head down and try to move forward. As here comes Ryan Preece. Tried looking for a spot, couldn't get it as the 00 of Glover Lore pitting early. Not quite sure what tire he's on, but he is the first pit stop. Gale Barnhart already trying to move forward. But the Alessio Deletta 87 car around the outside in the festival curves. Wheel-to-wheel racing going on here, and Gale Barnhart will get ahead. Louis Foster got a good start. He's up to 8th. As Flubler still in pit lane. So that is a terminal issue in the 00 car. As Catherine Legg has gone off track. Meanwhile, Connor Zilich up the inside will take the lead from Shane Van Gisbergen. So Catherine Legg around at the back of the field. And we'll get back going, but down in 25th. Glubler a lap down. Zilich back into the race lead. A quick exchange at the front as Dawa Tenzin now off track. Way off the racing line. He had some issues at Summit Point going off track, and he has fallen all the way down to 22nd. Shane Van Gisbergen now trying to chase down Connor Zilich. As no, your championship leader, Ryan Preece goes off. Car is struggling for traction with a colder track, and Ryan Preece goes off the circuit, and he's going to have to wait till everyone goes by this could be big in the championship. He has to wait all the way for the 07 to go by before he can get back going. But the 64 now at the tail end of the field, that's going to put the 29 on the podium in third. This could be a big day for Shane Van Gisbergen if he can capitalize here. So the championship picture looked pretty shut, but it has just been opened wide. So here goes Malukas trying to make a move on Peterson. Peterson a little bit off right there. Long front straightaway. It is a drag strip. 43 trying to chase down the number 9. Ryan Priest now at the tail end of the field. Meanwhile, Stingray Rob trying to hold off Yuki Tsunoda, who's going to go up the outside in turn 1 and won't be able to get there. So Connor Zilic coming up on traffic. Glubler 2 laps down. Stingray Rob holding up a good amount of the field, currently running in 5th. Looking for another top 5. Another top 5 could be enough to put him in the leader circle, so he's going to need to fight very hard. But that final turn proving difficult for some of these drivers, as 3 off tracks have already happened. And now it is the 77 of Stingray Rob who goes off, as Shane Van Gisbergen tries to make it 3 wide, as Jacob Abel is also off. And there's Stingray, 2 cars off in the final turn. And they are going to run into each other. This could cause a yellow flag. Still stuck to each other, but they get back going now. But there's something going on in that final turn that is proving difficult. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen chasing down Connor Zilic. He could try into the chicane. He's not quite there. Meanwhile, Benjamin Peterson gets by the 00 going into the chicane. What was that? 5 cars off. And then 1 car that was in pit road. And there's another, the 27 of Yuki Tsunoda, way off track. As the 03 of Dorian Pin on the racing line spins off. So just too much speed. It's a difficult corner to get right, and that is 2 cars stopped. Alessio Deletta and Callum Ilott battling down in turn 1. As Dorian Pin gets going, Yuki Tsunoda not going yet. And he will despawn, and that's going to cause a yellow flag. Yellow flag out for the 27 of Yuki Tsunoda, who spins off. So let's see what happened to him in particular. So yeah, it's just carrying a lot of speed and way over judging the turn, especially on exit, and he's going to spin all the way off. And then they determined that the car was sitting there for too long, so he had to tow back to pit lane. So that's going to bring out a yellow, and that's going to be another double file restart, which could shuffle the field once again if that outside doesn't get going. So Tenzin, Leg, Priest, Pin, Rob, Abel, and Yuki Tsunoda all go off early in this race. Gonna have to see if the 27 can get back going, as no, that is day done for Yuki Tsunoda in that 27. For some reason he despawned. A race of attrition going on here. What an interesting day already. Championship has potentially been blown wide open. Gonna try to see if we can get a single file restart to maybe prevent some of the big stack up. The restarts will now be single file. As Glubler now going to have to go to the back of the field. Ryan Priest pits now. Nobody else did, except for cars that have already stopped. As, okay, the 00 is actually going by because he has the lucky dog. They're going to let him through. Priest going to come back out. So the 00 is going to get one of his laps back, but will still be 2 laps down. Stingray Rob did have some additional damage from hitting the 75 right now. Nashville was a good day for the magenta trees, but this day not going the same. Restarts will be single file to try to prevent the big stack ups, but hopefully this doesn't cause the stack up to be behind Connor Zilic. That's what the team would want, that's what Zilic would want, but that may not be the best racing. The 00 gonna pit now, gonna be 2 laps down. Needs a couple more yellows to get back onto the lead lap. Right now, Zilic, Van Gisbergen, Peterson, Malukas, and Foster currently having his best day in a long time, running in 5th. Then Armstrong, Robbie, Hamilton, Brewer, and Barnhart will round out your top 10. It's just going to be a battle of who can drive the smoothest, keep it clean. As lights out, 1 lap under yellow, we are on the timing tower, 13 out of 48 through, actually 10 out of 45 through, so a little less than a quarter of distance completed. 1 car out of the race, 27 of Yuki Tsunoda, going to be having another disappointing result. Finished all the way down in 25th at Nashville after a late pit stop. Currently sits 8th in the championship. Lewis Hamilton currently on for his first top 10 in that Liverpool FC44 car. But Connor Zilic, Shane Van Gisbergen, Louis Foster, they know this could be a big day with Ryan Preece all the way down in 22nd. Preece has moved to the hard tire. Gonna have to see if he can get to the end on that. Peterson on for his second career podium if he can finish where he is. How this race has gone so far, it could get shuffled around a lot more. Zilic on the softs, but he's going to have to be careful. How many off tracks there have been, anything can happen. As let's get ready to go back racing. Pace car pulls into pit lane. And it's a much better restart this time. Zilic gets away with Van Gisbergen behind in second, Peterson back in third, Malukas fourth, and Foster in fifth. Zilic gets a big start. Ryan, oh, this is a big shuffle going into turn one here. Ryan Preece right in the middle of it, currently down in 20th, needs to move forward. Zilic got a huge restart, 1 second up on Shane Van Gisbergen, but Van Gisbergen tires will be better soon. Louis Foster could have a big day today. 5 straight no top 10 finishes, but luckily still second in the championship. But this is a big opportunity, but he has Marcus Armstrong all over the back of him, who's going to try to make a pass into the chicane, but has to back out of it. Zilic's lead has now fallen to a 6/10 lead. Started very strong, but those tires going to become weaker by the lap as Guy Gagné is going to pit now, and Dorian Pin will follow. So 2 pits early here. And you're going to have to watch WinCar's pit. Ryan Preece now moved up to 18th, got around the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan. And you see Stingray Robb battling Jacob Abel. And Abel's going to have the advantage. As Zilic has spun from the lead in a turn that we haven't seen anyone have an incident before in, all by himself. 18 of Callum Ilott goes off trying to avoid him. Oh, disastrous for the number 9. He's going to get back going. As now the 44 of Lewis Hamilton is gone. A lot of off tracks happening all at once as the 87 enters pit lane, followed by the 24. Meanwhile, David Malukas around the outside into turn 1 to get around Benjamin Peterson and move into second. That could give him Rookie of the Year as Connor Zilic has dropped down to 22nd. Callum Ilott battling Lewis Hamilton, but all that chaos has almost put Ryan Preece back into the top 10. Miles Rowe currently in the top 10, looking for yet another one. Van Gisbergen all by himself, 1.6 second lead. Take it nice and easy as Armstrong has got Foster as he's gone off. A lot of cars going off. Who else is that? The 47 of Lindsey Brewer is also gone. That turn proving extremely difficult. Foster doesn't lose too many spots, but is going to be shuffled towards the mid-pack as 44 and 9 come in at the same time. Van Gisbergen, 3-second lead. But you got to be careful. Armstrong looking at another podium, possibly. Zilic is lucky that the 18 of Callum Ilott didn't T-bone him. Here's the 24 of Chet Jordan and the 03 of Dorian Pin. Tried battling. Right now, this is a good position for Ryan Preece, actually. He can just keep it clean. As Peterson around the outside of Malukas will trade second place once again. Robbie having another good run in 5th. Barnhart has worked his way up to 6th. 2.5 second lead. Peterson having a hot lap right here, but he is on the soft tires. As Van Gisbergen, that explains why he's right behind the number 9, who is giving him some grievance. As the 87 of Alessio Deletta has gone off in the final turn. Just too many cars being uber aggressive. As Van Gisbergen going to try and go by Zilich as Zilich goes a lap down. Jacob Abel off the track once again as David Malukas, bold move around the outside into turn 1. Incredibly bold move by the number 25 and the 33 of Marcus Armstrong going to follow. As Dawa Tenzin has spun and Ryan Preece is stuck right in the middle of it. A track blockage here as everyone trying to get by. But the 64 has disappeared, and that is going to be yet another yellow. Something tells me that the 64 was just unlucky in that circumstance. You have the 94 trying to make a bold move on the 07 and just spins it right in front of the 64, nowhere to go. As that is just unfortunate. The 95 going off-roading, trying to avoid. But that is unfortunate. Let's go on board with the 94 of Dawa Tenzin. He went off again. He went off a second time somehow. Did they actually make contact, or... But here you see him just accelerate in. And then Ryan Preece, nowhere to go, gets beached on the curb. As Shane Van Gisbergen continues to lead. As all hell is breaking loose. The 07 of Catherine Legg also disappeared. Seemingly had her own issue. So where was she? Okay, she's there now. Then where did she go? Okay, so spun off there. Then was that it? Seems to be. So everything going haywire here in Portland. So 95 may have gotten some damage. Ryan Preece going to be on pit lane, but this is not at all what he wanted. He's got to try to beat the pace car out here. But he has some damage. Some cars coming in. Callum Ilott, Jacob Abel, Dawa Tenzin, Guy Gagne. Dorian Pin will come in. I believe Connor Zilich should be the one getting his lap back. Yeah, he will be. Zilich will be back on the lead lap here. As the 03 of Dorian Pin, oh, whoa, phases through the number 18 of Callum Ilott. But the strategy in this race has gone out the window. Let's just try to get a look at who's pit and who hasn't. So far, the best car that has pit, the number 77 of Stingray Rob, is currently the best car that has pit. Didn't do many laps though, has almost done more laps on this stint than his first one. So he may need to pit again before this thing is over. But right now it looks good for the 43 of Shane Van Gisbergen, but how this race is going, that could change very quickly. So Ryan Preece is actually out of the race. That is his first DNF since Mid-Ohio, in his first non-top 10 finish since Montreal. So Ryan Preece, 45-point lead, but all of a sudden that could be going away. Because right now, how it's running, Shane Van Gisbergen is only going to be a few points back. Yeah, with how it's currently going, I believe Shane Van Gisbergen would be about 4 points back, 5 points back. The lid is blown wide open. Van Gisbergen leads Malukas, Armstrong, Peterson, Robbie, Barnhart, Rowe, Hubbard. Rob currently the best car that has pit before, but he is also on the soft tires, so I don't think he's making it to the end. And then Mahavir Raghunathan in 10th having a solid day, staying out of trouble. So Connor Zilic led a good amount of laps, but has dropped all the way down to 21st after a spin. Currently his other teammates, Brendan Hubbard once again being the best of the teammates, currently running in 8th. Then Guy Gagne is running back in 18th after pitting earlier. So 1 lap to green. 19 out of 45 laps complete. So we get ready to go back green here. 21 cars on the lead lap. 2 cars out of it. 3 cars a lap down. The 95 of Ethan March still on pit road. Double zero of Glover Lord 2 laps down. And Catherine Legg 1 lap down. But 8th and 1st in the championship. Out of the race, Ryan Preece. That is going to be a huge blow. 3 wins on the season. Anything can and will happen. Just unfortunately that one was wrong place at the wrong time for the 64 team. As let's get ready to go back green. Shane Van Gisbergen been looking very solid today, will lead us back to green with nearly 25 laps to go. Lucas kind of swerving to try to break the draft of some cars behind. Callum Ilott, one of those cars that just pit, will go around the 44 of Lewis Hamilton at the back. Shane Van Gisbergen up to a 1.2 second lead. But remember, Connor Zilic had a good start, or good restart I should say, but then spun in this turn and lost many spots. With how shuffled this field has become, expect anything to happen as Connor Zilic trying to move back forward. Gets by the 94 of Dawa Tenzin running in 21st. Van Gisbergen still over Malukas. 25 laps to go as Stingray Robb, as predicted, has to pit again, and he's just going to do it now and try and go to the end as Marcus Armstrong swings around the outside to get by David Malukas. Currently on for 2 back-to-back podiums, but the door's open for Benjamin Peterson, but Malukas will close it. Shane Van Gisbergen has already built the lead to 3.4 seconds. And right now looks like the car to beat. But again, anything can happen and shake this field up once again. And he also hasn't pitted yet. And right then, Something happens to the 43 of Shane Van Gisbergen careening off the track, and that is going to give Marcus Armstrong the lead. And that's what Ryan Preece wants to see. More problems for the other championship contenders. And he is going to cycle all the way back to 20th. So Armstrong, now your leader, follows by Malukas. Louis Foster trying to move back forward as we have another spin. Lindsey Brewer upside down. That is going to be a third yellow on the day. Yellow flag number 3. This race has devolved into chaos. So let's see what happens here. So Chet Jordan goes up the inside and then checks up to not hit Foster, and then just Lindsey Brewer wheel to wheel goes over. Let's see what she saw going down into turn 1. Oh, so the 24 actually hit the 11, then he hit the inside wall. Oh, and the 47 just goes over. That has a big impact. So more chaos. 3 yellows. Most we've ever seen in a race is 4. And we are coming up on that number. As Chet Jordan in pit lane, he may be in there for a while. Because not only was the suspension broken with contact with Brewer, but he also hit the inside barrier. So, Lucky Dog this time will be the 07 of Catherine Legg. We'll get back onto the lead lap. 3 cars, well, 2 cars still out of it. Ethan Martz is 6 laps down. Shane Van Gisbergen gonna pit now, as now Alessio Deletta is the best car that has pitted already. He didn't pit too long ago. What tire is he on? Because that could be important. He is on the softs. That is going to be a tough battle to try to get to the end. But this kind of race is what could give you one of your strange winners, like in Ethan Martz that we got at Mid-Ohio. Fortunately not going to be Ethan Martz day, currently running 6 laps down. But you never know. CO7 of Catherine Legg is now trying to get her lap back. Teammate David Malukas currently running in second, still looking for his first win. Marcus Armstrong got his first win of the season, but second career win came at Nashville. Really starting to mount a pretty good charge. But your top 5 in the championship, first place down in 25th, second running in 9th, that's Louis Foster, third Shane Van Gisbergen all the way back in 19th now, fourth is the number 9 of Connor Zilich, who's up to 16th, and then 5th, David Malukas runs in second. Catherine Legg working on getting her lap back here. Due to us having cars laps down, we can't quite shorten the distance. Catherine Legg, I don't know if she's going to beat the pace car back around if she does decide to pit, because it took her a long time to get through the field, so she may stay a lap down, unfortunately. Lindsey Brewer is actually going to go back out and not be too many laps down. Chet Jordan actually paying the bigger price there, as no, I don't think Catherine Legg's going to beat the pace car around, so unfortunately we'll stay one lap down. Oh, she might. She may actually get there. As she will beat it. So she will be back on the lead lap. 20 cars on the lead lap. Lindsey Brewer just one lap down despite the damage. So Deletta, your best car, that has pitted. Everyone else has not. We're now over halfway through this race. And a lot still to be determined. As your top 3 starters have already come into issues today. So we're going to restart with 20 laps to go. 20 cars remain on the lead lap. 2 cars officially out of it. Ethan Mart's 6 laps down, so he's basically out of it. Chet Jordan remains on pit road, so he's also probably out of it. Lindsey Brewer, if another yellow comes out, will get back on the lead lap, and that would tie our record of yellows for at Texas and Iowa, at least as of this season. I believe Rockingham Season 3 has the record at 9. So let's get ready to go. Marcus Armstrong leads us back to green, and that is a good restart over David Malukas. But leading today has been a curse. So let's see how Marcus Armstrong is able to handle it. Smoothly through the first 2 turns. Malukas sits in second, Peterson in third. Robbie Lohr having a good day. Hasn't had many of those as of recently. Staying calm under pressure. 2-second lead already for Armstrong. Lucas is running on those soft tires. Armstrong is running on mediums or hards. I can't quite tell. That means these two probably going to have to pit before he does. Let's see if we can get a pretty decent stint out of this. Typically the first lap that has some calm, but everything afterwards turns into chaos. As Peterson trying to make a move there, can't quite get it. Barnhart up into 4th, gets around Robbie Lohr. As no, the 33 is gone, and that is another leader that has bit the dust. As now David Malukas all over the place. Through the festival curves, Armstrong gonna have to wait for everyone to go by before he can get back going, but he will be at the tail end of the field. as that is another driver that has bitten the dust while leading, and now it's David Malukas. Here comes Barnhart for second, as bold to pass in there. Robbie Lohr gonna follow, and Peterson gonna drop to fourth. As Barnhart will take the lead, as that'll be his first lap led. Actually, no, won't be his first lap led, but Malukas comes to pit lane. Gonna see what kind of speed he has. Gagne has pitted twice, and he's up to seventh, so he could be on for a very good run today. Louis Foster has worked his way up into sixth, could be having a big day. Miles Rowe, Brennan Hubbard having good days once again. Lewis Hamilton on for what could be his first top 10. 6.3 second pit stop for Malukas. Gale Barnhart up to a second lead, but leading has been a curse today. I hold my breath every time they go for that chicane, because Lord knows what may happen. As once again another car off track, and this time it is the 07 once again, just got her lap back and goes for another spin. She will get back going, so not too much loss there, as Peterson and Rowe battle for third. Peterson lost spots out to both Barnhart and Lohr in one move. Still hanging on to a podium, but Miles Rowe looking for another one, who has just been so impressive these last few races. That 99 of Brendan Hubbard has been very impressive too. So all credit to those guys having strong runs. Man, it's just every time they go into that chicane, I feel a little nervous, as I should be, as Peterson is the next one to go off. He will tumble down the order, and he's going to have to wait a little bit longer because he's going to have to wait till the 07 goes by. Barnhart 1 second up on Robbie. Just keeping him honest. Whoa. Barnhart stuck right behind his teammate Chet Jordan, who has just exited the pits. 6 laps down. Trying to not go a 7th. But this is giving opportunity for the 30 to track down Gale Barnhart. Gale Barnhart, the only Silly Men racing car this season to not have a win, as they're both going to get by Chet Jordan, but that was pretty untimely. So you're starting to see on the stint length, 6th through 10th have already pitted, and that could be a battle amongst these guys. Cal Milot could be in a good spot today, as once again the 07 of Catherine Legg goes off, and this has just turned into a miserable day for her. Gonna have to wait and see if she can get back going, as she does once again. But as the field spreads out more, there's a little bit more windows to get back onto the track, as Peterson will come into pit lane after spinning earlier. Connor Zilich has almost worked his way back into the top 10. Shane Van Gisbergen runs in 16th, as Zilich battling side by side with Tenzin here for 12th. Tenzin on for his best result as of now in 13th. Mahavir running 11th, which would be his best result in a while. As Armstrong, once again, it gets worse. And he is into the barrier. That is a hard impact, and this is going to be a yellow, most likely, as Foster gets by Hubbard. As that will be day done for the number 33. So 0 to 0, just the span of a couple races. Let's Armstrong, first one to spin off there and actually impact the barrier. Let's see what he saw here. Tries to oh, he had contact with the 00, and he goes careening into the barrier for yellow flag number 4 of the day. Go on board with him. So you kind of have to go back to here. This is the run off the turn. Oh, Glubler kind of lifts off, and that's going to send him into the barrier there. So weird place for the 0-0 to check up. But Barnhart looking solid, but needs to pit. And I assume you're going to pit anytime. It's going to be now. So 2 out of 3 Silly Men racing cars in severe trouble. Lindsey Brewer going to get her lap back this time. Actually, no, it's going to be Benjamin Peterson in the 29. That will just barely get the lucky dog. Louis Foster running in 4th. This could be a big day if he can finish strong here. But he has not pitted. And that is crucial. As Barnhart will be the only car at the front to bail. The 54 Mahavir Raghunathan will follow, so Gail Barnhart gives up the lead. But no one else does. They may be trying to go as far as they can to the end. Which is very, very risky. And a severe gamble. I don't think you can just based on fuel number, let alone tire. Out of the cars that have pit, it's currently Gagne 1, Deletta 2, Ilott 3. This will put Zilich back in the top 10, as Barnhart and Raghunathan will come out 17th and 18th. So Peterson working on getting his lap back, and we will go green with just about 10 laps to go. And the top 4 all have not pit. This is going to be really interesting, as there is no indicator on who's going to pull this through. So since Peterson is caught back up to the field, we're going to try to restart now. One lap to green. We'll be going green with 11 to go. Let's see if we can make it home or set a new record on the season at 5 yellow flags. Hamilton looking at what could be his best result. 4th out of the cars that have pit. Pin could be having a good result. Zilich could still rebound to a good result. Nothing in the books yet. Pace car will pull off, and Robbie Lord will lead us back to green. Green flag back out. Robbie Lord trying to get his 2nd win of his career and 2nd win on the season. Miles Rowe chasing his 1st, and Louis Foster looking for his 3rd on the season. His championship hopes not over, as Gail Barnhart in the middle of the swarm. Jane Van Gisbergen down in 14th. Louis Foster runs in 3rd. Foster all over the back of Miles Rowe. That 11 car is quite fast. But these guys all struggling on tires significantly. As the 30 has a good acceleration. Going down the backstretch, the 11 of Louis Foster content with just sitting in line right now. Miles Rowe going all this way on softs is quite commendable, as all three will pit now, and that's going to give Gagne the lead as he got by Brennan Hubbard. But now all the cars out there have pit at some point during this race, with Deletta pitting the earliest, but he sits in second, trying to tie his best result of the season, but Callum Ilott still chasing that first win. So Foster, Robbie, Rowe, Hubbard, and Raghunathan all pit. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be another non-top 10 finish for Louis Foster. And that is devastating to his championship hopes, but Guy Gagné could be in contention for his first career win here at Portland with 10 laps to go. Can he get it done? Viking Racing, 2 wins on the season. Connor Zilic back in Spain, and Brennan Hubbard at Kentucky. The 77 of Stingray Robb has gone off. So that's another one gone. Benjamin Peterson gone as well. He's more on the racing line, as both have got back going. Let's see if Gagne can pull this off. Half a second up on Deletta. Been out there for 19 laps. Deletta 24. Ilott 19, but he is on the soft tires. Hamilton looking at his best result in 4th. Pin looking at a strong result in 5th. Zilic rebound to 6th would be incredible. Van Gisbergen back into the top 10. The cars that just had to pit hoping for one more yellow so they can get some chance at going at it again. As there goes the 18 and the 44 at the same time. Those two go off. They were running 3rd and 4th. As here comes Alessio Deletta looking for his 2nd career win. Chaos still erupting. Luckily, Hamilton and Ilott don't lose that much spots just because of how spread out the field has become. This could open the door for cars like Dorian Pin and Connor Zilic to still get the win despite everything. But they need to chase down the 90 and the 87. Raghunathan is off track. As he is still running. But just any mistake here. Oh, that could have almost been it for Guy Gagné all over the edge of the track as Deletta's getting chased down by the 03 and the number 9. Zilic looking for a move. And he's going to get by Pin, and Deletta's going to spin in front of the field. David Malukas goes by on the curb, and Zilic is going to get through to 3rd, but that doesn't give any chance of winning. As who was that? That was the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan. The 03 of Dorian Pin is stopped. This may be another yellow, as the 87 of Deletta is still off with the 07. And that is a pileup for the ages. And that is going to be yellow flag number 5 on the day. As all hell breaks loose in turn 1. I have no idea what just happened there. Connor Zilic tried a bold move up the inside, and it did not pay off how he thought it would. May have not even been his fault. Oh, yeah, he did what Chet Jordan did. Hit the inside wall and then hit Alessio Deletta. Go on board with the number 9 to see if that was in fact what happened. just slightly tapped the 87. Then the 03 of Dorian Pin stuck here. The 87 gets out of the way, but then has to try to go around the 54, who spun out by himself. We'll try to shorten this yellow so we can get some green flag racing here at the end. But Connor Zilich, Shane Van Gisbergen, it's like nothing ever happened. They're running third and fourth. This field has been shaken up so many times, it's looking how it would have. Louis Foster unfortunately had another off track, as I believe Brewer might be getting the lucky dog here, I'd assume. But Alessio Deletta had a good run going. He's going to be out. Dorian Pin going to be out. We'll try to shorten this yellow here to give you a couple laps shootout at the end. But we have hit the record for the season. So much chaos has ensued. Gail Barnhart, despite pitting under yellow, is back up to 5th. Connor Zilich is still out there despite clobbering the inside wall and probably getting some drivers quite upset at him. So we'll try to shorten by at least one lap. So it's one lap to green. 47 trying to get by to get back on the lead lap, but going to be pretty far back from the field. So 4 laps to go. 5 yellows on the day. It has been chaos in Portland. Guy Gagné looking at his first career win. Teammate Connor Zilich not far behind. Any yellow here late in this race will be the end. The first yellow for Yuki Tsunoda, second yellow for Ryan Preece and Dawa Tenzin. Meanwhile, Tenzin's actually still in the top 10. Third yellow was... I don't even know who the yellow flags have been for at this point. So much chaos has happened. Third one, I believe, was the Chet Jordan, Lindsey Brewer one. Fourth one was Armstrong. And fifth is Deletta getting hooked in turn 1. So I think with the strategy, most likely everyone's going to be able to make it to the end, but it's going to be quite a stretch for some of these. Like Zilich has gone for very long, especially with a broken car. I don't know how much juice he's going to have left. 4 to go. Guy Gagné looking at his first win. Malukas looking at his first win. Zilich, Van Gisbergen looking to try to finish the day strong. As we get back going, Gagné gets away well, and Malukas will be in second. Zilich in third. Surprisingly, his car seems quite capable despite the everything. Malukas did not get that great of a start, and 8 tenths back with just 4 laps to go. But if one of these guys go off, that could be lights out. 1.5 second lead. Malukas struggling. Zilich and Van Gisbergen, if they get around this guy, they could try to chase down Gagné for the win. Gagné, the only Viking racing car without a win so far this season. Zilich and Van Gisbergen look to make a move, but don't go for it. 3 laps to go in the number 90 look strong. Shane Van Gisbergen trying to make a move on Connor Zilic. This could be important championship-wise, as both of them are going to be back in it with a good result today. Louis Foster trying to get into the top 10. Not too far back, but he's going to need some big moves in these final couple laps. Malukas 1.5 seconds back. Zilic running in third. Podium would be nice, but he really needs to get by this guy. Because right now, as they stand, they're going to be about equal in Rookie of the Year standings. So keep calm here. Don't make any mistake in this final chicane. As Zilic is going to blow by the 25 here, and a couple off tracks. It's the 29 and the 94. Going to have to see if they can get back going, as Malukas, big move to try to stay ahead. All cars that spun off have got back going. 2 laps to go for Guy Gagné. Guy Gagné, have not talked much about him today, but perhaps in this scenario, that's a good thing. He's stayed clear of the shenanigans and currently has a 1.5 second gap. He just has to get through these final 2 turns as Tenzin deep in the barrier, and that will be a yellow flag to end the race. Actually, it's too late, so they do have to finish the lap. As what has happened, something has gone. Zilic could not make it to the end. He has to pit at the end. Oh, tough for Zilic. Could not make it on fuel, so he's going to lose out as Malukas looks to be in a second place once again. Dawa Tenzin deep into the tire barrier. Zilic going to be all the way back in 16th. That is going to be tough for him. He actually, I think he got disqualified. I don't know how that happened, but I think Zilic got disqualified at the end. But for Viking Racing, they might be disappointed there. But it is the number 90 of Guy Gagné who finally gets it done. First career win for the number 90. Shane Van Gisbergen back in the championship. Last lap pass on David Malukas for second. And Malukas will come home in third and take the Rookie of the Year championship lead. Crazy, crazy day. With some late race chaos. So ultimate chaos here, as yes, the number 9. First time we've ever seen a car get disqualified in the open wheel offline league. 1 hour race, much longer than I expected it to go. But Guy Gagné, first career win. Just under 3 seconds to get the win over Shane Van Gisbergen. David Malukas gonna make it 3 straight podiums in third once again. Gale Barnhart, a 4th place finish, will be his second best of the season. Absolutely amazing day for that 42 team, especially looking at an uncertain future ahead. And then we go to 5th, Jacob Abel, first career top 5. Very good day for him as he was on the cutoff for the leader circle Robbie Lore finishes in 6th, another solid top 10 today. Stingray Rob will finish in 7th. A pretty good run for him, hoping to get into the leader's circle. Louis Foster will finally get into the top 10, finishing 8th. Miles Rowe makes it another straight top 10 finish as he finishes 9th. Then Catherine Legg, despite all the spins, will finish in 10th. Brennan Hubbard will just miss out on the top 10 and will finish 11th. Lindsey Brewer will finish 12th. Lewis Hamilton ties his best result in 13th. I believe that is 3 straight 13th place finishes for him. Benjamin Peterson, rough day, will finish in 14th. And then Callum Ilott, last car in the lead lap, finishing in 15th. Still been a while since he's finished in the top 10. Mahavir Raghunathan, first car a lap down in 16th. Connor Zilich disqualified and will finish in 17th. Not sure what happened to him. 18th will be the number 94 of Dawa Tenzin. 19th, Glubler Lore, early incident, puts him many laps down to start this thing. And all the cars that will be officially counted as DNFs, Ethan Martin 20th, Alessio Deletta 21st, Dorian Pin 22nd, Jet Jordan 23rd, Marcus Armstrong 24th, points leader Ryan Preece all the way down in 25th. Just poor circumstance. And then rounding out the field, Yuki Tsunoda at the tail end once again. Chaotic race here at Portland, and from the testing of what I've done, Sonoma may not be much different. So make sure to tune into that. 2 races left, 1 road course, 1 oval, both in California. So qualifying will be on Tuesday, and I hope to see you guys then.